Are you ready? Are you ready? I hope you're ready, because I'm ready. Let's get to it, guys. Hey, this is my first episode of the quarterbacks. We're going to talk about quarterbacks. We're going to talk not just quarterbacks, we're going to talk top tier elite quarterbacks for fantasy for 2022. That's what we're going to talk about. You know, to me, fantasy quarterbacks don't have the elite ones. The elite ones, I'm talking about the elite ones. I'm not talking about quarterback 12s and 13s and 14s. Like, who the hell want to be playing those guys in your playoffs? You know, and you probably won't make it to the playoffs if you got one of those guys. Listen, it could be played in a whole bunch of different ways. You could draft quarterback early, you could draft it mid, you can draft it late. But to me, I don't prefer to draft late. I'm gonna drop you a quick story real quick. I'll tell you what happened to me probably the two times I drafted quarterback late. Remember that I drafted Jameis Winston. He had actually a pretty decent fantasy year, even though he threw for a whole bunch of yards, 30 touchdowns, 30 picks. I picked him that year. I went against my whole thing, and I picked him. I think he was a top 8 quarterback or something. I can't remember at the time. But it just wasn't beneficial. It didn't give my team the hitting power. The other time I did it was I drafted Ben Roethlisberger. And I drafted him thinking I could get a safe quarterback 6 or 7. And he got hurt against Cleveland like the first drive. Cleveland sucked. He got hurt the first drive all the way at the end. It got all the way down to the 7. Took a sack and laid it down for the game. And I freaking lost by 7 points that game. I'm going to tell you what happened. I want to get too far. I grabbed my remote control. This is back in the day, so this is a while ago, obviously. I had a 50-inch plasma. I had the remote control, and just off reflex, I grabbed it and bam, threw it at the TV. TV cut off. Completely freaking dead. I broke my TV over Ben Roethlisberger. I don't advocate for sorry-ass tight ends, period. You know, so I'm not in the business of that. Not say sorry, but just that lower tier, the tier that you don't know. I like elite freaking guys. Now, does that mean you got to pick him in the second round? No. Does that mean you got to pick him in the fifth round? No. The later you can get him, the better. All depends what your team, what your league mates are doing. Okay, let's jump to it. Just had to get that story time off my back. Welcome back, everybody. This is Anthony Blake Jr., AB Jr. for those that know Flawless Fantasy Football. Your first time here, like the video, hit the comment section, let me know what you got going on. Let me know what you think about the video. All right, we're going to go quarterbacks for 2022. Welcome back to the whiteboard. Many of you that were here last year know about the whiteboard. I know you missed the whiteboard. The whiteboard misses you too. All right, now listen. This year I'm not going to get into too much fluff. I'm trying to keep my videos straight to the point. I ain't trying to bore you with all these nonsensical analytics and stuff like that to try to make it look cute and tickle your fancy. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not in the business of being some big fantasy football YouTuber. I got other stuff I want to do with my life. I've been playing fantasy since the mid-90s, and I'm only here to fulfill a bucket list for the second season and to get you guys championships. Damn it. So, number 1, 2, we're only going to go through the top 6 because the top 12 are like you break them down in 12. QB1s, QB2s, QB3s, just like wide receivers. It's always the top 12, next 12, and next 12. Let me talk about something real quick. I am an advocate of seeing things before they happen. Now, guess what? Me, my big head ass, and anybody else that sits behind a pretty screen and a whole bunch of editorial stuff, they're going to hit and they're going to miss too. Okay? The thing is, they say so much crap about stuff that they're going to be like, oh, didn't I say this? I'm like, you talk about everybody. And just because you say this person can have a big year and then they do, that don't mean you called it. Because you said can. Anybody can have one, but did you say they will? No. So a lot of people be hyping themselves up with credit and don't deserve it. So you got to, read between the lines with that nonsense. Okay, enough of, talk about that. Last year, I had on my QB1 list last year. Before it happened, I should put it in the comments. I did miss on some of them. I did. I had a bonehead pick in there. I wish I'd have never put in there because he had a real good year the previous year. But I put Josh Allen as my number one quarterback last year. Yes, above Patrick Mahomes. I sure did. And out of the 3 teams that I had that all actually finished second place, I actually had Tom Brady in 2 and Josh Allen in 1. Okay? Because I believe in elite quarterbacks. That don't mean you have to. But when you get, it's benefits from having an elite quarterback, and I'll get into that in a second. So the top 6 last year, or that finished in 2021, is Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and Aaron Rodgers. Now, I had Josh Allen number 1 last year, and I had Tom Brady number 3. And guess where they ended up at? 1 and 3. I didn't expect Justin Herbert, my this year's number 2 guy. And to be fair, many people's number 2 guy. This guy's a gunslinger, and long as Austin Eckler can stay upright, let me tell you, he's going to get those cheap dump downs and that good passing yardage and stuff. He should be just fine. So Justin Herbert ended up number 2 last year, just above Tom Brady. Unfortunately, guys, Tom Brady did not make my top 6 list because much as I love him, but I understand that Father Time is undefeated. Another quick story. I had Peyton Manning in his 55 TD year. And straight up, I know my league. I picked him in the first round. I had the 12th pick. I picked him and Marshawn Lynch. Of course, I won that year. And let me tell you, through that 7 touchdowns the first game. But the next year, I got cute because I was cocky. And I drafted him again. His arm was completely noodleized, man. I don't think noodleized the word. But if it was, that was his freaking arm. So it can happen that quick when you're up there in age. So it's not a knock on Tom. I love Tom, but I doubt I'll be picking him this year. So my number 3 this year, I'm gonna put Patricia here, okay? Just because I believe in him and the coach. And I believe something's going to happen over there. We'll talk about that later in my wide receiver episodes. So Patrick Mahomes, the only thing I don't like about him is his brother. So, but, his brother's not on the field. So there's number 3. Number 4. A lot of people are going to say this is probably too high, but I don't think so. Each year is different. Joe Burrow. Now, it does bother me that he finished number 8 last year, which is not that bad, but he had 2 strong monster games in the playoffs when just averaging 20.5 points a game last year. Without those 2 games, he probably would have landed outside the top 12. But with having Jamar Chase and having the other weapons over there, look, he just got a boatload of guys, a threesome of guys to throw to, and being another year removed from the surgery, that he had. So I believe he could be the elite quarterback up here with the other 3 monsters. Okay? So I'm not gonna throw no salt on Joe Burrow. He showed us what he can do. Number 4. Man, this is tough. No, that's number 4, Joe Burrow. I'm sorry, number 5. This is see where I take these leaps when other people won't take these leaps because they're cowards and they feel like they got to see it first. But when you prophesy stuff, you see it beforehand. There you go. Jalen Hurts. I believe we're bringing glass-ass A.J. Brown. But if he stays healthy, if A.J. Brown stays healthy, to me, I compare to Jalen Hurts to when Buffalo brought over Diggs for Allen. They had the same, he's inaccurate, he can't get over the hump type deal with Josh Allen. They brought over a stud wide receiver, a true bona fide number 1 wide receiver, jumped Josh Allen up to the number 1 quarterback. Man, I tell you, I have receipts for this stuff because I can show you leagues. When I drafted Josh Allen at the 702, when he made that leap. And I don't have many teams, so it's like, a lot of people are like, I have this guy. I have no more than 2 or 3 fantasy teams. So, of course, if you got a fantasy content creator and they got freaking 10 teams out there, they're going to have somebody. So it's going to make it seem like, man, he makes good picks. Well, really, they're just freaking picking. So they're going to have damn near everybody because they're diversifying. I'm real big on that. You know, I'm real big on somebody, on content creator having receipts instead of just saying what they do. So, nevertheless, here's my top 5. Number 6. And we're only going to focus on the top 6, and we're going to talk about my version of the elite quarterbacks. Number 6. This was very tough for me. Gonna be honest. But I'm gonna go ahead and put Kyler Murray here. Here's the deal. Kyler Murray was glassing out last year, missed some games, but on average, he averaged 22 points a game, 22.2. That's more than if he'd have took that same route, take that same type of average per year, that would have been good for 5th. No, I'm sorry, 4th. So he just needs to stay on the field. I know everybody's like, well, D-Hop's not there. D-Hop's not there. D-Hop is washed, okay? I'm looking right into the freaking thing. I'm going to tell you, D-Hop is washed. And I actually put on my do not draft list D-Hop before D-Hop, Michael Thomas. A lot of times these people are going to be telling you to pick people. Don't pick him. When they're washing over here, he don't have the separation no more. Don't pick D-Hop. I don't give a damn if he's there in the 10th round. Don't draft D-Hop. Okay? Pick somebody else. You're not going to lose because you don't draft D-Hop. But you can lose if you do. That's Kyler Murray. Now, honorable mentions to go that may make it up into the top 6 are Dakota Prescott. He can make it, but I think they're going to take a hit. I'll put an asterisk there. I think you're going to take a hit because everybody's going to be focused on CeeDee Lamb. The other guy's not back from injury yet. And I just think they may be more run-orientated and throwing it to Pollard. I just, we'll see what happens with him. I like that. I think he can finish between 6 and 8. I don't like him more than the other guys. But, so it's just like that. I'm not a Dallas fan. I'm a San Fran fan, as we all know, but I'm not hating on that because of that. And number 2, we're going to go with Goat Brady. I mean, he always proving people wrong. He should be good as well. And I have, those are the 2 guys. 3, let me get one more. Who do you think the 3rd guy is here for honorable mention that can make it into the top 6? May even be interchangeable with Kyler Murray. May even be interchangeable with Kyler Murray. But that is Mr. Russell Wilson. Very possible. If I had to take anybody, I'll take Kyler Murray out and put Russell Wilson in right here. But all depends if they let Russ cook. I'm not a firm believer in these wide receivers over there in Denver. I'm not a big Jerry Jeudy fan. I said that last year. I'm not a big Cortland Sutton fan. And this guy is coming from throwing it to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Okay? That's a freaking downgrade. I don't care how much you love Jeudy or how much all them other guys love Jeudy. They didn't catch a single touchdown pass last year. Both of those guys are going to get outproduced. Okay? Both of those Denver wide receivers. Want to be the leading wide receiver fantasy-wise. We'll talk about that later, though. This, guys, is my top 6 elite wide receivers. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Kyler Murray. Honorable mentions to Dak Prescott, Goat Brady, and Russell Wilson. Like, comment, subscribe to the video, guys. Dropping more content. We're going to get into meat potatoes. Hey, what you guys want to hear me drop next? The wide receivers or the running backs? The running backs or the wide receivers? I know you guys love some wide receivers, but I'm telling you, I'm going to get some nuggets out there for y'all, and you better hang on tight because you're going to be ahead of the curve messing with flawless fantasy football. I'm geeked up for this year, and I'm holding these jokers accountable, and I got receipts. Press like, hit the comments, holla at your boy, Flawless Fantasy Football. Peace.